So you're thinking about moving to the Bellingham, Washington area, and more specifically Point Roberts? Well, in this video, I'm going to take you around to a few different neighborhoods, show you a few different price points so you can see what might fit into your budget. And if you stick around to the end of this video, you're going to see what makes Point Roberts one of the most unusual places in the United States, and you're not going to want to miss it. So let's get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about eating, sleeping, playing, working, as well as the good and bad about living in Bellingham, Washington, and more specifically the Point Roberts area, then subscribe below and tap the bell icon for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market in Point Roberts, Washington. My name's Dale Serbasek, and I'm with the Living in Bellingham, Washington team, and every day we get calls, texts, and emails from people just like you, and we love it. So whether you're thinking of moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. The info's in the description below, and we'll help you make that smooth move to the Point Roberts area. Now, as you can see here, I am at the Maple Beach Park, about 5:30. Hey there, friendly people around here in Point Roberts. So right now, I'm really close to the Canadian border. As a matter of fact, if you can see back here, there's a little yellow navigation marker on that concrete piling along the water. That is Canada. That's the Canadian border there. So we're very close to the Canadian border, and you can also see over here all of those skylines there are part of the greater Vancouver, BC area. And as we come around here to the east, we're looking east here. You can see, maybe you can't see it, but it's kind of faint there in the distance, Mount Baker, which we have other videos about the Mount Baker area as well. That's in Washington State. And then facing south here, you can see are some more of the islands in the San Juans and the Puget Sound. So we're going to stroll along the beach here at Maple Beach. This is a public access beach. It's pretty late in the afternoon, I think about 5:30 p.m. It is high tide, so normally this would be very sunny. On the weekends, on hot summer days, it's full of people out here sunbathing, swimming. You can see there's buoys out there for markings of depth, and people oftentimes moor their boats as well. It's a very shallow area as well, just like in another video we talked about Birch Bay, Washington being very shallow. On low tide, this goes out about a half a mile, so you can look for shellfish and just go out and enjoy playing out there on the tidal lands. But yeah, in this video I'm going to take you around. I'm going to show you some cool places in Point Roberts. There's a nice marina here, so if you're a boater, you can keep your power boat or sailboat and venture off into the San Juan Islands. There's an airstrip, if you believe it. It's not a commercial airport, especially during the Big C, as we call it. I don't want to mess with the YouTube algorithms, but the only way to get onto Point Roberts was by boat, to take a private ferry, or to take an airplane, those private charters, because you could not cross into Canada from the mainland of the United States to then drive around the little 45-minute drive through Canada to cross back through the border crossing into the United States, and vice versa. Anyone who lived here in Point Roberts was not able to go and cross into Canada, so they're very isolated. One of the things that's pretty unique about Point Roberts is it was considered one of the safest places to be during the Big C, because there was no way in and out, really. I mean, the people that were here were kind of stuck. Of course, they were able to get off and do things that they needed to do, but it was very tricky to do that. So it was very isolated, and they had 0 cases through the entire process of the Big C, which made some headlines. So this is approximately, Point Roberts is 5 square miles, and it's basically a peninsula that juts off the mainland of Canada below the 44th parallel. So this is part of the United States. The word for it, I believe this particular part of the United States, they call it a penenclave. Penenclave basically means an area that is part of a greater whole, but you have to travel through another area to get to it. So there's your fact for the day, your word for the day, a penenclave. So yeah, I'm going to take you around, show you some of the other parks. We're going to walk along some of the other beaches, show you the marina, take you to some campground areas. We're going to show you the US-Canada monument, border monument number 1, which means it's the very first monument along the entire US-Canada border. So it's a cool little park that has that monument. It was put up probably about 150 years ago. So yeah, it's gonna be a great video, so I encourage you to stick around to the end. So let's go take a look at Point Roberts, Washington. So here we are at 337 Evergreen Way in Point Roberts. This property is listed for $329,000. It was built in 1971. It's a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, coming in on the square footage at 966 on an extra large lot at 0.25 acres, which is just over 10,000 square feet. This property, don't let the outside fool you. The inside is really cool. It's got that awesome cabin feel that a lot of you might be looking for. And then that big deck up there has amazing views of the ocean to the west. So you're gonna see some spectacular sunsets. You can see here it's got a nice sized yard. We have a property, new construction going in fairly close over there, but it just shows that this is definitely an appealing area. Again, nice westerly views with some great ocean views. Yeah, definitely check this property out if you're interested in that cabin feel. And let's head off to the next property. And as usual, I'm gonna show you what the neighborhood looks like on the way out. So here we are at 1996 East Saturna Place in Point Roberts. This property was built in 2009. It is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath property. Square footage coming in at 1,524. It's a nice sized lot, 7,300 square feet. And it's just a short stroll down to the beach. And this property also has title land rights. It's a very nice open floor plan with great high-end finishes. There's a theater room, bamboo floors, tankless water heater, you name it. It's also on a nice cul-de-sac. We'll cruise over here. We can show you a little bit more of the property and the nice cul-de-sac that it's on. You can see in here. Got a nice deck. This face, of course, it's late in the afternoon, so that faces west. So you probably can't see me, but it's got a nice cul-de-sac, very private back here. So let's head off to the next property. And as usual, I'm gonna show you what the neighborhood looks like on the way out. All right, the sun's getting pretty low and it's about ready to set. So I'm trying to get this great video in so you can see how awesome this condo is at 1728 Edwards Drive here in Point Roberts. This property is listed for $499,000. It is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath on 2 levels, built in 1991, and the square footage is 1,324 square feet, which is the largest floor plan in this development. So there's about 32 units, I believe. This is an awesome property, south facing, unobstructed ocean views of the Straits of Georgia, as well as Mount Baker. This is amazing. You're steps away from a beach. I can't wait to take a few minutes and show you around this property. Again, has a heated pool, south facing, private beach, the list goes on. So I'm gonna show you the side of the property here. You can see it's on the end, which is nice. Let's walk over here a little bit. Nice little side yard here, which you don't actually own, but of course not anyone's gonna really be using it. So you can see here is the front entrance. There's no garage on this particular unit, but it has a reserved parking spot. So let's walk around here. Has a great patio. The people that own this aren't here full time, so you can see they're kind of packed up for the summer here. We're kind of getting into the fall, but you can see nice little balcony up there, nice patio space, and you literally, I just took about 5 steps and I am on sand. And you can see over here is the heated pool. This gives you a good idea of what the complex itself looks like. It's shaped like a V from above so that all the units kind of have nice views. What you can see over here is the heated pool. And of course there's a lot of driftwood here. This is south facing, so you can see People have their stand-up paddle boards. Nice little area out here with some patio furniture. Yeah, pretty awesome. All of these are the islands out in the San Juans and Puget Sound. You can see I'm gonna go over to a park called Lighthouse Park for sunset. So please stay tuned for the rest of the video so you can see the wrap up, and hopefully we'll get a great sunset. So again, if you're looking for a condo, one of the nice things about having a condo in Point Roberts, if you're not gonna live here full time, is it's easy to close things up, lock the door, and you can leave for months and you don't have a yard to take care of. You don't have to worry about, doing all the normal stuff that you do at the home, because all the outside, of course, is handled with the HOA. So let's head off to Lighthouse Park and I'll show you the neighborhood on the way out. So once again, I want to thank you for watching this video until the end. I hope you've had a good time exploring Point Roberts with me, and we are ending this video here at Lighthouse Marine Park. It's on the southwest corner of Point Roberts. So it's a beautiful park. There's a good amount of walking trails around. We're going to walk along the beach here. The sun is starting to go down. We should get some nice sunset views. One of the other cool things about Point Roberts is the beach is completely walkable. So you could walk, if you see it from a map, you could walk from the west side of Point Roberts on the beach at the Canadian border, south all the way around to the southern tip, around through the marina, and then back up along the eastern shore of Point Roberts up to the Canadian border as well. So coming here as we close out this video, and you can see the spectacular sunset. This is a bit of a rustic boat launch. We're probably about midway through the tide going out, so you can see, for those of you that don't live near coastal waters, you're always able to tell if the tide is going in or out based on if you have wet seaweed coming in up higher than where the water's at. Then you know it's still wet because the water's going out. Nice little beach here. You can see beautiful sunset, a lot of driftwood as we mentioned before, because we are in the Pacific Northwest where there are a lot of Douglas firs and cedars up in this area. Anyways, yeah, and I promise you I would tell you what makes Point Roberts so unusual, one of the most unusual cities in the United States. And that is that the children that live in Point Roberts have to cross 4 border crossings to get to school every day, because the students that live in Point Roberts are part of the Blaine School District, which is of course on the mainland. So right here being in Point Roberts, we would have to cross from Point Roberts into Canada, drive around in the school bus, cross back into the United States into Blaine, and then when you come home, get in the bus, cross from Blaine, USA, back into Canada, drive around to the border crossing, and then back into Point Roberts. So anyway, so if you have kids, you might want to consider that before moving here full time. A few other cool little facts about Point Roberts. About 50% of the residents that live here are dual citizens of both the United States and Canada. So that makes it convenient for them, especially if they work in Vancouver, which Vancouver is only about 25 minutes up a highway once you cross into into Canada from the United States. So there's a lot of people who do work in Vancouver that live here because the real estate is so much cheaper in Point Roberts, like 1/3. If you just cross over the border and you're into the town of Tsawwassen, property values triple. So it's a good thing for them. They can get away from the hustle and bustle of the city to this quaint little area that some people say feels like being on an island. There's about 1,200 residents in Point Roberts and a few nice little restaurants that we will show you on a map at some point in a future video when we do a map tour of the Point Roberts area. So just a spectacular day out here. I want to thank you again for watching to the end. And again, if you're planning a trip to Whatcom County, Bellingham, anywhere in Whatcom County, Point Roberts specifically, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. The info is in the description below. I'd love to show you around town and help you make that smooth move to the Point Roberts area. See you next time.